My name is Anya, and my daughter, Sophie, was once my entire world. I lived in a dazzling city, surrounded by my husband, David, my stepmother, Victoria, my older sister, Rachel, and my younger brother, Ethan. Our family ran a social media empire with millions of followers, built on glossy blogs, luxury lifestyle content, charity galas, and the fate of a perfect, united family. We filmed in our opulent mansion, capturing staged moments of joy, editing until dawn, and sharing tales of our legacy of wealth and compassion. I was 42, the emotional core of our brand, pouring my heart into every video while dreaming of opening a wellness center for young mothers inspired by my own journey as a teen parent. But when Sophie, at 16, told me she was pregnant, everything changed. I wanted to support her, but my family saw it as a crisis. I thought I could protect her, guide her, love her through it. I was so wrong. The crisis began when Sophie, trembling, confessed her pregnancy during a tense family dinner in our marble-floored dining room, the chandeliers casting cold light. I was shocked but reached for her hand, promising we'd figure it out. Victoria, however, saw a threat to our brand. A teen pregnancy will destroy us, she snapped, her eyes ashy. Rachel nodded, whispering, "Think of the sponsors." Evan stayed silent, his gaze down. David, my husband, urged me to handle it for the family's sake. They pressured me relentlessly, framing Sophie's pregnancy as a scandal that would ruin our empire. "She's too young," Victoria insisted. "You have to show strength." Against my heart, I gave in, believing their lies that I was saving Sophie's future and our legacy. I stood in her bedroom, tears streaming as I handed her a suitcase and $500, saying, "You've disgraced us, Sophie. You can't stay," she sobbed, clutching a childhood locket he'd given her, begging, "Mom, please don't do this." Her cries pierced my soul, but I turned away, Victoria's voice echoing in my head. "It's for the best." Sophie left into the night, her footsteps fading, and I collapsed, haunted by her pain. Our followers never knew her absence was spun as boarding school, and the brand soared. Years passed, and life took a surreal turn. At 50, I discovered I was pregnant again, a miracle I hadn't expected, a chance to be the mother I'd failed to be. But the guilt over Sophie never faded. I was still part of the family's empire, though my role had diminished, my spirit broken by regret. The annual charity gala, now a decade after Sophie's exile, was Victoria's idea. "Let's celebrate our legacy," she said, her smile calculated. I envisioned a night to honor my new beginning, pregnant and hopeful, wearing an emerald dress to reflect my fragile optimism. I prepared a speech about second chances, imagining my unborn child and Sophie, wherever she was. Then helped with tech, and Rachel and David teased a family milestone. I was vulnerable but determined, clutching Sophie's old locket, now a symbol of my regret, believing they might share my hope. It lay awake, robbing my belly, praying Sophie was safe, believing they cared. I was naive, blind to the conspiracy they'd woven. The gala night arrived, and our mansion was a spectacle, chandeliers glittering, tables draped in gold, a string quartet filling the air. I stood in my emerald dress, my pregnancy visible, Sophie's locket around my neck, greeting guests with a trembling smile. Our followers flooded the live stream. And as glowing family goals, my heart ached for Sophie, but my unborn child gave me hope. Rachel took the stage, her voice polished, and I expected her to introduce my speech. Instead, her tone turned sharp. "We must address Anna," she said, projecting a screen with a forged diary entry supposedly mine, confessing it exiled Sophie for selfish ambition, endangering our brand. The crowd gasped, their eyes piercing me. Then, a second screen showed real emails, David's correspondence with a shady lawyer, seizing Sophie's trust fund, inherited from my late father, to fund a secret deal with a rival influencer family. I was frozen, my breath caught, clutching Sophie's locket as tears welled, my pregnant belly a reminder of my stakes. The diary was a lie. I'd never written it, never acted selfishly, but David's emails were real. and his betrayal for money hit like a tidal wave, shattering my soul. "This isn't true," I cried, my voice breaking, the locket trembling in my hands. But Rachel pressed on, her words venomous. "Anna's choice broke our family," she said, her eyes gleaming with fake tears. Victoria stepped forward, her face a mask of sorrow. "We're heartbroken, Anna. You failed us." David nodded, his voice heavy. "We trusted you, and you've ruined our name." And then stayed silent, eyes down. The live stream erupted with hate. "Anna's a monster. She abandoned her daughter," guests whispered, sponsors turned away, and followers unfollowed in droves. My gala, my moment to heal, became a public execution. I fled to the mansion's rose garden, sobbing over Sophie's locket, my unborn child kicking as if urging me to fight. My family had framed me to hide their greed, but I didn't know the depths of their deception. I confronted Victoria the next day, my eyes swollen, my voice raw, clutching Sophie's locket, my pregnancy making me bold. "Why would you forge that diary? Why steal her trust fund?" I demanded. She smirked, her eyes cold. "The empire's worth more than your guilt. Anna, you were asking too many questions." My mind raced, piecing it together. For years it'd been probing their finances, missing charity funds, secret accounts, and Victoria's clandestine meetings. They'd been funneling Sophie's trust fund to a rival influencer family, securing a merger to dominate the industry. My questions about Sophie's whereabouts, she'd sent one letter from a shelter, which had been too ashamed to answer, threatened their scheme, so they framed me as a heartless mother to silence me. Rachel admitted it, her voice flat. "We had to protect our legacy." And then mumbled, "It's for the family," avoiding my gaze. David, guilty, said, "I thought it was necessary," but confessed had agreed to the fund theft for profit. "They didn't cast me out, they buried me, editing me out of blogs, spreading lies online that I was unstable, ensuring I was shunned. The city saw me as the mother who abandoned her child, a pariah, even as I carried new life." The next 10 years were a torment. I stayed in the mansion, a ghost in their empire, my role reduced to a silent figurehead as I prepared for my new child, a son named Liam. I raised him alone, David growing distant, consumed by the brand. The guilt over Sophie consumed me. Every milestone with Liam reminded me of her absence. I stopped creating content, retreating to my room, replaying Sophie's tearful departure. The forged diary haunted me. Had I been wrong to send her away? Victoria's calls were relentless, her voice soft but cutting. "Maybe you were too weak, Anna." Rachel texted, "We love you, but you need help," and then urged me to accept my fault. David asked me to move on for Liam's sake. Their gaslighting was so convincing, I doubted myself, questioning if it failed Sophie. It held her locket, terrified I'd lost her forever. My pregnancy with Liam a bittersweet reminder of my mistakes. My dream of a wellness center faded, replaced by regret. I avoided the city, dodging whispers at schools and stores, my heart breaking with every hate comment online. "Anna's a terrible mother. She doesn't deserve her kids." I was a shadow, my daughter gone, my family's love a lie. But one night, holding Liam, now 9, I found Sophie's old locket in a drawer with a note she'd written at 15. "Mom, I'll always love you." It reignited a spark. I was it, the villain who'd been manipulated. I started digging, using old contacts from the influencer world. Sophie, now 26, had survived, building a life as a renowned philanthropist, running a global foundation for teen mothers. The truth unraveled. Victoria had tracked Sophie, threatening her foundation's funding to keep her away. The trust fund theft wasn't just greed, it was tied to a corrupt tech mogul who'd helped Victoria launder charity money through the rival family. David had known, profiting from the deal. Rachel orchestrated the cover-up, while Ethan was a reluctant pawn, pressured by Victoria. The conspiracy was vast, and Sophie's exile was their way of controlling me. I resolved to find Sophie and expose their lies, not just for her, but for Liam and every mother they'd tried to break. Pregnant again at 52, surprise that felt like fate, he felt a renewed strength. The family's annual Unity Gala was approaching, a live-streamed extravaganza with millions watching, meant to announce a new charity wing. I had Ellie's new former staff, a financial investigator, and a hacker who'd accessed Victoria's servers. I contacted Sophie through her foundation, sending a letter with Liam's drawing, apologizing and begging to meet him. She agreed, and we reunited in a quiet park, tears flowing as she forgave me, revealing she'd be a surprise guest at the gala. I wasn't out to destroy my family, but to reclaim Sophie and my truth. I practiced my speech, my voice trembling but fierce, my pregnancy fueling my resolve. The Unity Gala arrived, a dazzling spectacle of lights, music, and opulence, packed with influencers, donors, and celebrities. Victoria shone on stage, preaching about family and unity, David by her side, Rachel charming, Ethan uneasy. I entered with Sophie's locket, my pregnancy visible in a radiant gold gown, Liam holding my hand backstage. Sophie, stunning in a gold gown, waited as a surprise guest. As Victoria's speech peaked, her voice dripping with hypocrisy, I signaled my allies to hijack the live stream. The giant screen flickered, revealing my evidence records, emails, the forged diary, and Sophie's exile. "This is the truth about my family," I said, stepping into the spotlight, my voice steady. "I kicked out my pregnant daughter, manipulated by their lies to protect their corrupt empire. They stole her future, gaslit me, but am done being their scapegoat." Sophie joined me, her voice clear. "I'm Sophie, and I survived. My mother was betrayed, but we're here to take back our truth." The crowd gasped, phones recording, the stream floating with shock. Victoria froze, her face pale. Rachel tried to interrupt, but my allies blocked her. I poured out my heart, tears streaming, my hand on my belly. "I love this family, our dream, our Sophie." But they used her pain to silence me, to hide their greed. They made me feel like a failure, but I'm enough. I spoke of the regret, the years without Sophie, the moment we reunited. Sophie shared her journey, her foundation, her strength. Liam ran to us, hugging Sophie, and the audience wept as Sharp and Sophie trended. We walked off stage, hand in hand, our gowns blazing, leaving them to face their ruin. The aftermath was seismic. The live stream went viral, followers abandoned the brand, and sponsors pulled out. The tech mogul faced investigation, Victoria's empire collapsed, and Rachel was shunned. David, shattered, apologized, but I chose divorce, focusing on Sophie and Liam. And then, horrified, vowed to make amends, and I forgave him. Been manipulated. Sophie and I launched my wellness center, with Liam helping paint its walls. My new community, mothers, survivors, dreamers, cheered our first event, and my third child, a daughter named Hope, was born surrounded by love. I'm still healing, the regret a scar. I miss Ethan's kindness, even Rachel's old warmth before Victoria's influence. The empire's collapse hurts, but I'm not the mother who doubted herself anymore. I'm a now who found her daughter, who knows her truth, who'll never let lies dim her light. Exposing them was our triumph, our way of saying we're enough. A mother's mistakes don't define her love does. Don't let anyone silence your strength or steal your heart. If this story broke you, like and subscribe for more real-life dramas. Share your fight in the comments. You're strong.